Nigerian Restructuring Project is a project that is intended to promote stronger unity among all Nigerians, no matter where you were born, where you live, no matter your status in the society. In other words, you could come from an ethnic minority, you're a stakeholder in Nigerian project. There are so many people from different parts of this country who are minorities, but they are also a stakeholder in the Nigerian project. The present democratic system that we practice in this country, we've been facing a lot of challenges, stronger challenges that is, militating against socio-economic development of the country, particularly the presidential system. Even the past parliamentary system does not guarantee sense of belonging to certain people from certain parts of this country because they are the minorities, and it's kind of a thing that is bringing agitation. And it's time we have a system that will be all-embracing and bring everybody on board on their proportional representation.
Chief Olufemi Salas Esquire, an attorney of law from the University of Lagos, a graduate of accounting from Ahmadu Bello University, Nigeria, a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN, an indigene of Lagos. He is a fellow graded of Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, a member of Associates, Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, member, American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, a member of the New York State Bar, member of the U.S. National Association of Security Dealers, member, American Bar Association, member, Amnesty International, and member of UN, IMF, World Bank, and NGO Network. He has 30 years experience in practice of law, account, and general consulting. He currently manages a New York-based law firm. Chief Olufemi Salas' political resume. It dates back to APN gubernatorial candidate by Alhaji Lateef Jakonde. He was a contestant for the National Secretary of PDP during the 2012 National Convention, former Lagos State Governor's aspirant of PDP 2007 to 2011, member UPN Youth Wing 1982, member SDP Social Democratic Party, Third Republic member, Africans in Diaspora Network, and National Vice Chairman PDP US Chamber, to mention but a few. He has participated in various conferences, workshops, and seminars, such as United Nations World Conference Against Racism in South Africa and Geneva, attended workshop on diversity-based democracy building in Geneva and USA. Chief Olufemi Salas is a nationalist, married with children. He has traveled to over 90 countries in the world, a lover of culture, a politician, and diversity-based democracy analyst.
When you look at the world itself, even the whole universe is characterized in diversity. You have the heart there, you have the Mars, so many planets out there. So, and in our home planet Earth, we have two types of diversity. We're talking about natural diversity and the artificial diversity. The natural diversity, you see things like a male and a female. This is natural. And when it comes to races, you have different races. We have the Europeans, we have the Chinese, the Africans, the Arabs, These are different races, There are some people who look at these races as distinct, So all these are natural diversity. Then there's this artificial diversity. Artificial diversity look at different ethnic groups, different participation in religion. Artificial diversity results from programming, because today people don't seem to understand they're killing each other because of artificial diversity. You see, if you take a child of a Christian pastor, when the child is born, the child don't know anything. If you take that child and give it to a Muslim cleric to raise up for you, she is going to be programmed, in an Islamic way. When you grow up, that is artificial. If you take the child of a sultan and you take it to an Igbo land for an Obi of Onitsha to raise up for you, that child is going to be speaking core Igbo. And if you take the child of an Obi of Onitsha, you take it to the Sultan to Rizal, it's going to be call an Hausa man. So why should you have to kill yourself because of artificial diversity? You see, artificial diversity also brings competition. You compete with each other, and in the course of competing, people either take positive initiative or they take negative initiative. You can have competition and do it in a way that is positive for the society. We need to reform this, and the reformation is what we call diversity-based democracy. Another name for it is equitocracy, equity-based democracy. Some of the challenges we're facing in the present democratic system are ethnic, religious, and other race-based crises, including the Boko Haram, the Jos crisis, the IPOD, Niger Delta crisis, among others. We have marginalization, political domination of minorities. Those that are presumed to be marginalized in the present system are the Northeast, the Middle East, the Northern Christian, the Southern Muslim, the South-South, the Southeast, and various other minorities. Then we have the force and domination of the incumbent in elections and running the state affairs. There are some incumbents who just say, okay, this is the person who's going to be the next governor, out of the will of the voters, the general people. The system permits that, the foreign system that we practice. Then we have party imposition, impunity, depriving competition, and the best for the country, because many party leaders care less about Nigeria, but they are selfish and group interests. They're just creating disregard for equity and loss of confidence in the system by the populace and many others. We have inability of Nigerians to live freely without fear in any state of their choice, except maybe Lagos State and Abuja, some other few states, maybe Kano, but quite a lot of people can live freely in any state of their choice. Then we have fraud, rigging, rituals, violence, deception, also some politically induced killings and monetization of votes, which is a major challenge. We have bad campaigns, unattainable promises, damaging vote negotiations, candidates are being head-ransing, and a clash of political personalities and rival parties, too many lawsuits and bribery of electoral umpires. Then we have excessive political tension and destructive criticism. Leaders are forced to manage crises throughout their tenure rather than concentrate on development issues. And of course, engaging in human rights abuses, disregard for the less privileged. These are just a few of the problems, that are militating against us in the present democratic challenge. And we need to restructure so that we can have a system that will completely eliminate these problems or reduce the impact of reduce these problems in our polity. The solution is what we call a diversity-based democratic system, or equitocracy, equity-based system. And that will require that Nigeria will transform from Federal Republic to Federal Equity Republic, or Equity Republic of Nigeria, or Federal Equity Republic of Nigeria. And this system is to promote sense of belonging to every Nigerian and create a proportional opportunity for all Nigerians, particularly those who are minorities. Because when you look at all the minorities in Nigeria together, they're actually majority. Because if all minorities should come together, they actually will form a majority. The present system we have has really promoted some hate. And the more hate you are able to produce in this country, the more the political relevance that you enjoy. Many of these political leaders are taking advantage of it, creating hate and distributing the hate to the people in order for their own selfish interests. There's been an attempt in Nigeria to manage our diversity, various attempts. So one of those attempts is creation of states, and another attempt is creation of zones. We have 6 geopolitical zones. But if you look at it from the point of states, we have 36 states in this country. If you ask Abia State to give us 3 candidates, that are competent to rule this country, for example, ABC, 3 candidates, and for evaluation across the country. We take these 3 candidates to Abia people themselves. The Abia people may prefer A to B and C. That means Abia, the A candidate from Abia State wins Abia points. We take the same 3 candidates to Lagos State. Lagos State may say, okay, we love the candidate C. That means candidate C wins Lagos State points. And in Kano, people of Kano may like candidate B from Abia State. That means B candidate from Abia State wins Kano points. So they have 36 points to win, 36 points. At the end of the day, maybe candidate A from Abia State wins 30 states, because 30 points was out of the 36 states, and candidate B from Abia State wins 3, and candidate C wins 3. That's like 30 plus 2:3 2:3. So we're going to take that Abia candidate, A candidate from Abia State, as a winner. We put it in a circle. In the same way, we ask other states to give us 3 candidates. Maybe one per senatorial zone. It doesn't have to be per senatorial zone, for evaluation. A candidate from Edo State, for example, may have 36,000, maybe because it's a nationalist, it's popular, it's talking good. Another candidate from maybe Imo State may be 31 to 5 to 0 is also 36. So all this we compile together in an objective paper, which is a basic objective, when you pick A, B, or C. And when you do that, then you now look at, okay, which one among them wins the highest number of points or states. So with this, the candidate that wins the highest number of states, we emerge as the Governor General of the country, because I'm suggesting Governor General in the sense that we don't have to copy the presidential system, call our leader president. Then in this case, those who wins in other states will be governor of who wins who don't have to be the Governor General, will be the governors of their various states. And then the state that produces the Governor General, the second runner-up will be the governor of that state. In this case, we have everybody in the country participating in selecting who's the governor, and the purpose of that is to make sure that all Nigerians can live wherever they want to live. That will promote that concept of making Nigeria live in any state of their choice. Of course, also promote some other value points that we express and help to resolve some of the problem of rigging and some other issues that we are currently experiencing in our democratic system. A basic presidential system in a country where you have, for basic explanation, you have a country, one is 60%, the other one is 40%, 2 ethnic groups, for example, and you are practicing presidential system. The 40% is 0 because the majority, 60%, when they put sentiments into the voting and they vote for the majority, the 40% is as good as 0. But this diversity-based system, the equity-based system, is to create proportional interest, proportional opportunity for what you represent in society. So for you to do it, the 60% will be broken down to 1/10, for example. 1/10 in 6 places, 1/10 plus 1/10 plus 1/10 in 6 places, and the 40%, 1/10 in 4 places. So the 10 will be the common factor. If you know mathematics very well. So relative to Nigeria, we are using the states, the 36 states as the common factor, and everybody is kind of participating, in this, the selection, the voting, and to know who's going to be. So those who are minority now, if you are minority in Nigeria and your population is just 10%, you have 10% chance proportional chance of being the head of the country, which is we call the governor general in this variant, because there are other variants of the diversity-based democracy. I'm just explaining this simple variant. If you are 20%, you have 20% proportional opportunity. If you have in your zone, for example, if you have 6 states, there's a possibility, 6 chances, 6 over 36, of your zone becoming, that's the geopolitical zone, 6 over 36 of you producing, of that zone producing the governor general of the country. And if your state is just, your ethnic group is 25%, you have 25% proportional opportunity of producing the president of this country. And how does it solve some of the problems we have talked about? With this system, there will be no ethnic and religious crisis. If you dare start any ethnic and religious crisis, there's no way you can be head of the country or the governor general of the country, because people are not going to see you from other states as being very important, because you need the cooperation of other states to vote for you. And then number 2, there is no rigging. There can be rigging, because for anybody, okay, I'm in Lagos State, if I want to rig national election in Kano, for example, I have to have my people in Kano to help me to rig. But then they are not going to help you, because if they assist you to rig, then they are rigging themselves out, because they are also a stakeholder. But the present system we have right now, it creates all kinds of rigging. Then there cannot be imposition or incumbents factor, because sometimes some incumbents, they override a lot of people, opportunities that are open to Nigeria. That's not possible under the system, because incumbent is retired to his zone or to his state to go and participate. So no ethnic and religious crisis, no rigging, no fraud, no unattainable promises, because there is no need for you. There is this law, legal language that I did not mention before, and this is based on equity, and there are 2 equity rules. Among equal equities, the stronger is the law. In this case, all the governors are equities, but the one that wins the highest number of states is the law. That's the governor general. And then the second rule is he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. He who comes to equity must come. If you want to participate in this system, you just have to be a nationalist. You have to be a good Nigerian. You have to promote peace. You have to come with clean hands, not dirty politics that we're practicing right now. People are killing themselves, doing all kinds of rituals. The amount of rituals you're going to do under this system. In fact, the more rituals you do, your tendency of failing is out there. So we have a system that's able to eliminate and completely reduce all those adverse factors that are militating against the development of Nigeria. But the disadvantage of this one is that it does not eliminate religious sentiment. And technically it does, because there'll be some states where the 3 of the candidates that will be coming to contest will all be Christians. And I would just suggest we go for this, because it will also play down religious politics, which is more dangerous, in our political system. If you play straight, after some time, the religious sentiments will be eliminated. But we have another variant. There's so many variants of this diversity-based democracy. The other variant try to look at ethnic and religious formation of Nigeria, and come up with a plan. And one of it is, creating diversity zones. We're looking at the zones of Northwest, that certain number of Christians that are in the zones of Northwest, and they compared to Muslim, the ratio of 1 to 4, certain ratio, Southwest diversity ratios, we're looking at 4, we are looking at 4 to all the zones. And then in Southwest, we're looking at 2 because it's kind of balanced. But in the Northwest, we're looking at 1, 3, 3 for Muslim, 1 for the Christians in that zone. In the Southeast, we're looking at 3, 1, 3 for Christian, 1 for Muslim in that zone. In the Northeast, the Northwest, you can see, look at it very well. You see the Southwest Muslim one, you see. One thing is diversity-based democracy is actually something good for any part of the world. But the first thing you want to do is to create diversity zones. The one I just explained is diversity zones based on states. But this one is diversity zone based on states and religions. So when I look at Nigeria, I look at, okay, if we give 4 per zones, in Southwest, I am looking at 50-50. So we created diversity zone of Southwest Muslim 1, Southwest Muslim 2, Southwest Christian 1, Southwest Christian 2, because in Southwest they are balanced, So in South, we're looking at South Muslim 1, South Christian 1, South Christian 2, because I'm estimating, it's just an estimate that there are about 1 to 3 in terms of ratio, 3 for Christians in South, because most people there of Christian origin, then 1 for Muslim there. Then the Southeast, I'm looking at 1 for Muslim there and 3 for Christians. And in Northwest, I'm looking at 3 for Muslim, 1 for Christian out there. So then that's in the Northwest. Then in the North Central, I'm looking at North Central Muslim 1, North Central Muslim 2, North Central Christian 1, North Central Christian 2. It looks like to me they are also balanced in North Central. And in Northeast, I'm looking at 3 to 1 in the formation. But if you ask me, I would just say, don't let us bring religious sentiments into voting pattern in Nigeria. We should just go to the states. Because after some time, the religious will fizzle out, and then we're going to have what we call contestant booklets. If you are using the states, we're looking at 36-page contestant booklet, a page per state. So the chart is just showing how the ballot paper will look like if we are using the states. The same ballot paper will be used across the country. And you can see a shade beside Adamawa that shows that ballot paper is Adamawa ballot paper. So that all the 3 candidates will be reflected on a page, and then sent to all the delegates that are going to vote. And delegates will look at their resume and be able to decide this person I'm voting for. And there we now have a perfect union, a stronger Nigeria, a stronger unity, where peace and prosperity will reign. But right now we need to stop all this ethnic and religious crisis that is really bedeviling the country. When there is a problem and you provide a solution, whoever is being faced with a challenge and you provide a solution, to the challenge, then the person who is being affected, will definitely accept it. It's just like when you are sick and you have a drug, a medication, those who are sick or who have been affected, they want to take the medication and accept it. But in this present discussion, I think the minority is what matters, because the minorities are being marginalized. So if all those people who are being marginalized decide in this country right now to come together, they're actually a majority. So if they decide to come together and say, okay, we are all coming as a bloc to accept this proposal, then it will work. It will work. All they just need is, okay, we all come together, we want to accept this proposal. Okay, they said no. Okay, this present system you have, we form a bloc, we pick one of ourselves to be what it is, and then, the person will now promote, the equity-based democracy system. Because the minority altogether, actually, they are majority. So it's about solution. Even there are some personalities. There are some personalities right now, the opportunities for them, they want to be president, but they can't just come up to say they want to challenge the incumbent. They can't. They have ability to become president. So they are like, I support the motion. you know. So if with this system, they will always have opportunity to come up because the force of incumbent is not there in the present system. So the minorities, the personalities, there's quite a lot of personalities, competent to rule this country, but chances for them are close. So they come up, it will work. So I'm suggesting that the minorities should form a conference of minorities. They all come up, form a bloc, and decide that, look, this is how to move this country forward. And if they do it, they win. I hold a lot of chieftaincy titles in Nigeria. The first chieftaincy title was given to me by former President Olusegun Obasanjo, you know, the Akiyegun of Owu Kingdom, and blessed by the Olowu of Owu. And have so many chieftaincies, about 20 or more chieftaincy title. I happen to have it across the country. I'm the Magayaki Jade in Bauchi State, and also have the title of Ofuri of Eastern Land, and Obong Adaha Uyo in Uyo in Akwa Ibom, and have some other chieftaincy titles from other parts of the country, and in support of African culture. I'm a cultured individual, you know, and believe more in African development. My social life is good. I mean, I have a lot of activities in culture. My support, you know, I love African culture a lot. And apart from that, I travel a lot. I like to see the world. I've done a lot of travels, and I do that, you know, just on the spot of buy the ticket and move. I love to travel. Well, Nigerians should not be taken for violence, should not be encouraged by those who want to stoke ethnic and religious crises to, you know, make them participate in violence. And I hope many of the youths will listen to this. And you can demand for your right peacefully. I'm not saying you should not demand for your right, but Nigerians also should try to practice what we call a little bit of welfare. A little bit of welfare, and particularly in basic needs, because if you don't provide welfare in basic needs, you know, for the people, they are going to go into violence. Because basic needs we're looking at like housing, you know, medical, and of course feeding. Because so many Western world, why are they able to reduce crime? Because they take care of poor people when they don't have ability to feed themselves, or have ability to you know, take care of themselves medically, or shelter themselves. They take care of this for them, you know. But Nigeria don't have that, and that is creating some crisis. You have to have some level of welfare, because a situation where your minimum wage is 18,000, what do you expect? Corruption. You know, because 18,000 cannot buy anything, you know, can't do anything.